don't I know you, sir?
Don't believe so. I haven't been here in many years. Name's Silas Greaves.
Silas Greaves? The bounty hunter?
Used to be.
Well, what are you doing here in Abilene?
Just passing through. Got a little business to take care of. First man I hunted was back when I was riding with Billy the Kid.
You knew Billy the Kid?
Damn right. That scrawny son of a bitch had no fear. Wouldn't back down for nobody.
I heard he collected the 10 stars off any crooked lawman who crossed him.
It was a war, boy. The Lincoln County War. And Billy promised his regulators would take the life of every bastard who helped bushwhack John Tunstall.
It was about 30 years ago. Billy was hiding out in an abandoned farm near Stinking Springs. I threw in with the kid because the man I had sworn vengeance on was riding with Billy's enemies. But before I tell you why I want that sumbitch dead, let me tell you what happened that day.
Who's that? Is he with us? You ain't going nowhere!
Was it Pat Garrett's posse?
Oh, yeah. Garrett's men were running around like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off.
These some bitches running! He can't take us all on! Get out here, coward!
Then, I heard a friendly voice yelling at me from the window. Back door! We'll cover you!
Try aiming, you idiot! God damn, he's hard to hit! God damn you!
It was a bit of a slog, but I finally fought my way around the back of the house. I passed Dirty Dave. Billy looked at me and said, "About time, amigo! Grab a gun and get to the window!"
Wait, so you were friends with Billy the Kid?
Yeah, sort of. Anyway, we were surrounded by dozens of deputized shooters who wanted to do us harm. That's when Charlie got hit. "They're catching us in a crossfire," shouted Billy. "Get to the other side!"
Where'd he come from?
Gonna make you bleed! Right. Making my way past the passel of fallen foes. More of these hapless bastards would pop up.
And that you killed him in a fair fight.
Is that what that penny dreadful said? No. And stepped inside, and last thing I heard was Garrett's voice. That's not Billy.
And go on, how did it end?
And, boy, that was just the beginning.
So what happened? Did Garrett arrest you?
Yeah, after I came to, the bastard had clocked me with his Colt.
And the kid surrendered?
When he realized there was no getting out of there alive.
So they locked you up in Lincoln?
Indeed they did. Sentenced me to hang right along with the kid. It's important to know that I was only riding with Billy so I could find the bastard I was after. He was with John Kinney's gang, and they were sworn enemies of Billy's regulators.
Why were you after him?
I owed that son of a bitch a bullet for what he had done to me and mine. Instead, all I got for myself was a goddamn death sentence. What the papers didn't say is that Billy helped me escape too. My first order of business was finding a firearm. Luckily, I located Deputy Bob Ollinger's mean-ass shotgun. And he yelled that I should take to the rooftops to make my escape. So I did.
Anybody see Billy?
Son of a bitch! Stop!
Hell yeah.
Hide, you little son of a bitch!
So that bastard you were after, what did he do?
He did me and my family a grievous harm. But apparently some of them thought I was Billy. I knew I needed to find a horse. Though I never did have a great fondness for those four-legged grass eaters. Smelly, sweaty, ungrateful beasts. We prize them too high, if you ask me.
But where was the kid while you were busy getting shot at?
Gone.
Take it!
So I could be a hapless decoy.
I don't get paid enough for this! Do this!
Cover your head!
On yourselves! Oh, dang it! Did he get him?
Stables on the edge of town.
I guess Billy saved your ass, taking out Bob Ollinger the way he did.
Billy didn't kill Bob.
Well, sure he did. He dispatched him right after he shot Deputy Bell.
No, sir. Because Bob came right up behind me, angry as hell that Billy had lit out. "Hello, Bob," I said. "I think you better let me go." And he says, "I don't think so, boy. Not with my shotgun." I killed him in a fair fight.
So where'd you go after Lincoln?
Mexico. Until I realized nobody was looking for me. I ended up taking a job at the Rurales.
The Mexican Rurales?
I was hired to help them track down the cowboys.
The most vicious outlaw gang in Cochise County? Curly Bill Brocious? Johnny Ringo?
Led by old man Clanton himself.
I came upon them robbing a stagecoach, which wasn't surprising, being they were such murderous thieves and bastards. The bandits wore red scarves, so I knew they worked for the old man.
Over there! There!
I did my best to help those poor passengers. Wondered if the rocks weren't hiding more bandits. Was that all of them? Or did I just hit the rear guard? I quickly got my answer. They attacked from on high like Apaches often did. They would appear in great numbers from above and rain down lead on their hapless enemies' heads. Making use of the high grounds. Did I say they were Apaches? I said Clanton's cowboys attacked me Apache style. I was in a pitched battle, but I was holding my own against an overwhelming enemy force.
Where's he going?
I immediately knew that a tactical retreat was called for. Back it up.
Shoot that running son of a bitch!
What the hell?
They were hunting me like I was game. And imagine my surprise when I found a fistful of dynamite to go.
No!
I was done running. I came at them like a wildcat. My fury knew no bounds. It was finally time for that old man to pay for his sins.
Can't hide forever!
I yelled out at the top of my lungs, "Clanton, I'm coming for you!" A little stealth might have made more sense, to be perfectly honest. I needed to get that old man off that gun. Most everyone thought it was the Ruales who had come up against him in Guadalupe Canyon, but it was just me.
You stupid zombie! Oh, gotta reload. What I ever do to you?
Apparently, one of the cowboys made it out of there alive and told Ike and Billy Clanton that it wasn't a Mexican who they just assumed it was one of the Earps. And that little misunderstanding eventually led to that legendary gunfight at the OK Corral. A few weeks after that dust-up at the OK Corral, I was still after Johnny Ringo. I had tracked him and the cowboys to their hideout at a sawmill.
So what exactly did Johnny Ringo do to piss you off?
Well, him and that other bastard.
Roscoe Bob Bryant?
Yep. They both deserve to die. But first I need to tell you about the cowboys' new boss, Curly Bill Brocious.
Just shoot the son of a...
There were killers around every corner, all wearing red bandanas. That's how the cowboys identified each other.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
What's that, Dwight?
After old man Clanton died, why didn't his son take over the cowboys?
Because Ike Clanton was dumber than a...
In for the kill!
Damn it!
Curly Bill, Johnny Ringo, and his compadres took off into the lumber yard, and I followed after. Brocious gave me no choice.
I knew you didn't kill Ringo, because he was found dead in a different location altogether.
To this day, his killer is still unknown.
Indeed. Took me a few months before I finally tracked his ass to West Turkey Creek Canyon. Sorry I had to ruin the legend for you, boy. But the legend ain't always true. I was paid a healthy bounty for Ringo and Curly Bill, and realized there was real money to be made. That's why I went after Henry Plummer. I knew I needed resources if I was going to track down Roscoe Bob Bryant, and hunting Plummer looked like a good way to get rich quick. Plummer rallied his gang to plunder one last gold mine before making their escape. As my late father pointed out to me more than once, God made men, but Samuel Colt made them equal.
You can't beat the innocents. Too damn close.
If Daddy had lived to see Alfred Nobel's explosive invention, my guess is he would have told Samuel Colt to kiss his ass. That son of a bitch pretended to protect the public with one hand while stealing them blind with the other. I was outnumbered and in way over my head. I thought I was some kind of hero. I had a few ideas on how to get into that mine, but once I made my decision, I knew there was no turning back. So my first thought was to enter the nearest mine portal. I saw an entrance. Made sense.
I'm here! Putting that moron out of his misery. This son bitch is pissing me off.
Some of those shafts could be as deep as hell. Quick reflexes often make up for a lack of common sense. Luckily, I was never one to be easily bushwhacked.
Okay, now you're really pissing me off.
One wrong bullet could have turned that mine into a dad-blasted tomb. I freely admit that my plan of attack was not just moronic, but clearly insane. It's a good thing that I abandoned that ridiculous plan before I even tried it. Instead, I spotted a ladder. I was determined not to give up, however. When the vigilantes discovered what the sheriff was up to, people were outraged. And I had made it my mission to settle that score come hell or high water.
Can't hide forever!
I picked the more convenient and more dangerous route. He was the sheriff of both places at one time or another, but that's neither here nor there. Henry Plummer was clearly unhinged, and I could see right away that this was going to take some.
I'm going all medieval on your ass. They're gonna bury you in a million pieces. Don't toy with it. You ain't taking me. Yellow.
So that's how Henry Plummer died. And now, I was officially a bounty hunter.
So, did you finally go after that Bob feller?
Well, I heard word he was in Kansas with John Wesley Hardin. So that's where I went. He killed his first man at 15. From that day forward, he had a price on his head and wouldn't back down for nobody. I dodged death many a time, and that night in Abilene was no different. Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Hardin was waiting for me, and John Wesley Hardin was a killer. By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Shoot that son of a bitch.
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew.
Can't believe you did this.
Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers. Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story.
Good shot at him.
I think I already mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon.
Dead man.
Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me.
Dodge a damn bullet. Did that asshole just kill Red? Ah! You can't hide from me.
Disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West. That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
And die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless avenger took his life. Shot him in the back in a saloon just like this one.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, Did you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, revenge was also his primary motivation. A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they tickled the nether regions of heaven. Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger. Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout. A deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you went in there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussing. They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers. To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul. You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are.
He said I was a great warrior, a coyote man.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared, kind of like a miracle. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo-jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens?
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady. And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding us.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you.
There were a lot of them. And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before. I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air. Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand. Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains. It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street. They finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. This man had no intention of letting the Daltons slip away. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait to set the bitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns.
We've got company. Now you're really pissing me off. Is that Silas Greaves? Son of a bitch! Over there!
His name is Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
The Daltons blew up a safe, and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeeville.
Hey, we got us a hero.
And those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
That's it for you.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeeville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him?
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
You won't get away with this!
But I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
Sorry, sir!
About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was.
Stop that, son bitch!
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet, but I did find a few of their cousins. You can breed like rabbits. Was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
I can't hear you! Yeah, you know you can't beat me.
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. Turned out that they had me.
Take him out! I'm sending you to hell!
The Daltons had played
Not
me
so
like a
tough after
fiddle.
all, is it?
Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge. It was time to settle this once and for all. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side. They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive, paroled 14 years later. He moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers. My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told. It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a canteen I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then, I swore to myself that I would avenge them. I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy, they were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Shit!
From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route.
Show yourself, coward!
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. The gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados.
You'll die for this, you hear me?
Wounded grizzly!
At times, it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery.
Mutilate that sucker! Dive for cover!
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the Wild Bunch all by my lonesome.
I'm gonna blow your damn head off!
But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nose Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that. On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America. I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail. Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards. The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports. I said, I made it a point to remove that dynamite.
What the hell?
But the Wild Bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off.
God damn him!
What happened?
Oh, he's hurt now. I ain't dead yet.
God damn you!
Are you some kind of maniac?
So, what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
You'll die for this, you hear me? Why don't somebody shoot him? Give it up now, and I'll let you...
The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today.
Not even a damn fruitcake! Put a bullet in him!
First, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded. Luckily, I had located some dynamite.
Are you kidding me? Boys, take this subbitch out! Get around him! Meat fat bastard! Give me a hand!
Eventually, I brought that tunnel down.
This cocksucker!
And that's
Move it,
when I
boys!
met Kid Curry himself. As fast as he was, I was just a bit faster. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him. Those were his last words.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
What about the other killer?
Yeah, you kinda glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang. Did I neglect to mention that?
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday. I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to find my way forward if I was gonna find this Jim.
Wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
There was a big payroll in the express safe, so I hopped the same train. The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again. I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friend.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey.
So much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free liquor.
At some point, some bitch saw me and shouted out, "It's a damn Pinkertons!"
It's a damn Pinkerton!
Now, I never worked for that line of cocksucker.
Everybody's always mistaking you for somebody else, aren't they? Why is that, I wonder?
Don't rightly know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember it.
Shoot that son of a bitch! You know who we
I wondered if I was ever gonna find the front of that train. Or the bastard I was after. Jesse hired a damn army after Northfield. I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. I could see Jesse waiting for me.
Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford.
Yeah, Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you. Yeah, I didn't kill Jesse James. Just wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his gun. I continued to track his brother, Frank, and that son-of-a-bitch Jim. In fact, before I could find them, some Indians who fled the res and were hiding out from the military found me first. They probably thought I was a cavalry scout and didn't want me telling the military where they were. I can still remember that old medicine man's words to me. You will come to this place again and kill many more men. And the darkness will grow until it consumes everything you are.
gonna answer the question?
What question is that?
Jim Reed. Did you ever find him?
Reed was indeed that son-bitch's surname. That's right, Ben. A despicable character. I remember him laughing like a hyena that cold morning they lynched me and my brothers. My vengeance. But nothing was gonna stop me. Luckily, I had some dynamite in my possession.
Dynamite? On your person?
Hands that son of a bitch! Take him out! You just one man! Put him down! I want that bastard dead!
That old shack? Well, it went tumbling right off that cliff.
With Frank James still in it?
Yes, sir.
But Frank James is still alive, living in Missouri, showing folks around the family farm for 25 cents a tour.
I didn't say he died in the fall, now did I?
I'm done with this damnable outlaw life! Kill me, don't kill me, do what you will! At this point, I just don't give a shit!
I explained to Frank that I had nothing against him personally and that I was looking for someone else.
You want Reed? Have at him! I never did like that bastard! I am done here!
So what happened with Reed?
Well, I finally found the last of the gang hiding in a nearby cave. First, I had to dispatch the lookouts. I decided it would be better to smoke that sumbitch out. Hey, Reed! I shouted. No wonder you're so ornery. Can't be easy being married to Belle Starr. While you're off providing for the family, she's spreading her legs for every Tom, Dick, and Cole Younger. Not an attractive woman exactly, but very friendly. At least she was to me.
Son of a bitch!
Would someone please kill him?
Why won't this asshole die?
Eventually, it was just me and Reed. And repay him I did. I don't know about you boys, but I'm pretty beat.
Well, it's too damn bad you never found that Bob character. Seems a shame you never had to pay.
Well, funny thing about that, I did have one more chance at him. 6 months ago, I heard that Butch and Sundance were back in the States and had gathered up some of their old gang. I tracked them down, hoping that Roscoe Bob Bryant had returned with them.
So you're saying they didn't die down in Bolivia?
That's what I'm saying. 40 years I had waited to get my hands on the last of my brother's killers. Not even an army of demons could have stopped me now. That son of a bitch had managed to escape my vengeance time and time again. I couldn't even be certain I'd recognize him after all of them. The town was falling apart, just like me. Even though the ghosts of my dead brothers were begging me to end what I started so long ago. The bandits knew I was on to them. They lured me in and hit me with everything they had.
Who the hell is that old man?
In that moment, I did not prevail.
So I suppose we're talking to a ghost.
Funny you should put it like that, Jack. Because when I woke up,
From the dead?
There was silence all around me. Here, there, even over there.
So I am right. You are titched in the head.
Mr. Greaves, perhaps we should switch you to coffee?
You see that old Indian again, too?
No, but I did see Billy's killer, Patrick Floyd Garrett. He came at me guns a-blazing. But I knew that old war horse had died 2 years before. But no ghost army was stopping me.
My father-in-law got hit with a fallen branch. He spent the rest of his life talking to dogs.
Newman Hayes Clanton, William Brocious, John Peters Ringo, they all wanted me dead.
The Sundance Kid?
Like a general leading his legion of the dead.
You told us before that you'd seen him alive.
He was alive. Then I heard a voice call to me from afar. It was Robert Leroy Parker, a.k.a. Butch Cassidy, coming at me from out of the fog. Looked like they hadn't seen each other for quite a while. Clearly, they were no longer amigos.
Shit. I was hoping I wouldn't have to kill you. You won't have to, Butch. I'm killing you first.
I asked them about Bob Bryant, but they were too busy with their own heated conversation.
Let me get this shit straight. You want my money and the love of my life?
You frittered it all away, Butch. Eda's mine. So is that damn money.
I didn't want to shoot anybody until I had an answer to my question, but those boys didn't give me much of a choice. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid died there in that cemetery not 6 months ago.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were killed by the Bolivian army. Everybody knows that.
That's the legend, but it ain't the truth.
So, you never found Bob?
There is no Bob. This old sumbitch ain't even Silas Greaves.
Sir, is that true? Have you been pulling our legs this whole time?
Well, not the whole time.
Oh man, I think you've worn out your welcome here.
Maybe you're right, Jack. Maybe it's time to pay. You see, Ben, or should I say Bob, your past always catches up with you.
I was a different man back then, crazy. Drinking, I've changed my ways, I swear to you. If I could turn back the clock,
But you can't, Bob.
Why'd you toy with me like that? Telling those tales, knowing all along. Why not just lay your cards on the table?
Here. I won't have it said that I left you with nothing.
So be it.
Holy shit!
Dwight, Molly, move against that wall. Go!
Oh my God! Oh, Jesus!
Did you know it was him all along?
Cassidy told me Bob was in Abilene before he died. But I wasn't sure Ben was my man until he revealed how much he knew about Ringo and Reed. The coin, of course. Well, that was the last nail in that particular coffin.
Young Eisenhower here is leaving for West Point tomorrow. He shouldn't get caught up in something like this.
I think I might head out myself at this juncture. Unless you want to stop me, Jack.
No, sir, Mr. Greaves.
So where you going now? Now that you had your revenge?
Doesn't really matter, does it? As I've sold my soul for it, and will never again walk with those I have lost.
We can take him!
I just kept running, not knowing where the hell I was going.
Surprise!
With all that gunpowder and dynamite everywhere, a body has to know what he's shooting at. All it takes is one tiny spark, and boom, bullet could have turned that mine into a dad-blasted tube.
Get a good shot at him.
In fact, I felt a certain hostility. Oh, I hopped the same train.
Damn lying drifter!